Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Just to start off, I would like to kind of, apologize slightly that, we had to kind of delay the preview. Schedules and whatnot really didn't align, with everyone involved, not just us, but it's an absolute pleasure to finally have on Martin. Welcome to the show, Martin. You guys can go check out his content on in the title and in the description as well. They run a brilliant Man City fan channel, the Mancunian Way. Talk to me, Martin. What is the vibe like? Let's say 5 hours, before kickoff.
Yeah, it's relaxed. It's just started raining, so I don't have
Mhm.
that to get over. I think you need a bit of Manchester weather on a night like this. No, it's
100%.
surprisingly relaxed. Maybe in a couple of hours might be a bit different, but
Mm.
yeah, it's all calm before the storm at the moment.
A bit of soaking it in kind of helps, yeah, because nights like this, they don't come around often, especially a team of the caliber of our sides basically locking horns. Like I've gotten slightly tired of City, in general facing them and the emotional turmoil that it's basically sets us out on. Like I would like your take on it. Like, is this something that you relish? Is this something that you dread?
I mean, at the moment, I relish it. If you'd have asked me probably 3 months ago, different answer, but we've sort of clicked into gear a little bit at the moment. I mean, I understand what you're saying because we do tend to meet a lot now.
Mm.
But that's credit to both teams because we're both, you generally 99% get to the last stages, and we tend now to get to the last stages. So you're always going to meet at some point. I just enjoy these games because it's two top teams going hammer and tongue. It was a great game over in the Santiago Bernabeu last week. And I just hope home advantage plays a massive part tonight with the crowd behind. Got a bus welcoming, displays all planned, and we've got to make it the atmosphere as hostile as it was last year, where as you know, your players still had nightmares about that atmosphere last year. It surprised you all. And I'm hoping that's the same tonight. The atmosphere was electric last week. I just hope we can do it proud again tonight, which I'm sure we will.
100%. Something that really blew me away was how up for it, the Etihad Stadium was, because like I've always associated you guys, contrary, to the popular belief and the trawlers online. I've always thought that City had a very passionate core fan base, and yeah, last year in the return leg, they were completely out in full force, and yeah, the boys. I regret to admit that they got carried away with the occasion. I hope they don't play the occasion; they play the game. If we play the game, I think we have every chance. To go into the semi final. But before we move on further, big up the chat. Big up my co-host Jacob. Man, talk to me. What's the feeling like? Mm, 100%. 100%, 100%. The occasion basically, puts everything in the background, and what we feel for the team, and then the basically the struggle that we have to go through, for the entire season, to the forefront. And this is basically do or die, for both teams. City, yes, they're basically chasing a double treble. Martin, the double treble, is it too far fetched?
I'm not talking about it.
Of course, of course.
But, yeah, listen, everyone's talking about it. 2 weeks ago, we were
Right.
bang average, not the
Mm.
same state as last year.
Yeah.
Now everyone's talking about double treble. And until we get this week out the way, If we win tonight and we win Saturday against Chelsea at Wembley, then maybe I'll start to believe it. But I'm not quite there yet. I'm still basking in the glory of the treble we've just done. Never mind doing back-to-back trebles. It's, you know, I'm 42. I was never expecting one treble, never mind back-to-back. It's mad to even talk about that for me, but within 7 days we might be in it.
There you go.
Crazy it is, but on the other side of it, by Saturday night we might be out only in one competition again. So swings and roundabouts, but yeah, I'm not entertaining this double treble stuff.
So you're basically telling me that even if you guys don't make it a treble, like even winning either one of the Champions League or the Premier League is a good season.
Yeah, for me, any trophy is a good season. I know
100%.
Some people tell me that's small man mentality, but I'm an old school fan from Main Road, so you know, watching it winner. I'm one of these. I celebrate every single trophy because I never know when this ends. You know, this is the problem with some fans. They like United and Liverpool did it, and Arsenal done it. You sleepwalk into a 10, 15, 20-year trophy drought, and nobody sees it coming. And that's why, even if it's just a League Cup, I treasure it because I treasure every moment at Wembley. Moments like this, because they can be gone in the blink of an eye. And there's too much of this. Well, I expect it. Expectations, 1000%. You know that as Madrid fans, more than ever on expectations. But to me, I'm just basking in what we're doing right now because it could all end next year.
100%.
You never know. But that's just me. Maybe I'm too old school.
That's too far fetched about it ending. I don't think, even if there's gonna be some.
City are always going to compete, and that's all I ask for. As long as we're competing, I'm happy because we're not going to win the league 10 years on the bounce.
100%.
Not a computer game. We're not going to. I wish we could, but we're not.
Yeah.
Because one day Pep will leave, whether it's in 18 months, probably more likely be 3 years because he'll sign that extension. And then we'll probably see what happens.
Yeah. But at least for the immediate future, I think City is going nowhere, and that used to be my biggest concern. And people used to tell me that once City basically goes over the line and nicks that first Champions League, it's going to be curtains, and it's looking like it. To be honest, coming from a Real Madrid supporter is pretty big, because I used to basically laugh stuff like that off, but those kind of thoughts are basically staring right in my face as we approach kickoff tonight. City is here to stay, and fortunately for you guys, unfortunately for all all your rivals. But let's kind of get into the nitty gritty a bit. Walker was a huge miss in the first leg. It was basically our way in. Probably the biggest reason why Ancelotti kind of doubled up on Rodrigo and Vinicius, kind of interchanging and playing on the left side, and basically giving Kanji a lot to think about. It was a combination of you guys' obvious high line, and Kanji kind of being slow to react, that led to the second goal, especially. Walker's form as well. Like I'm not unaware of the fact that he hasn't been exactly at the peak of his powers, this season. How do you kind of weigh that up? Like, is he a big positive going into tonight?
For me, if he plays, because it's a weird one, because Akanji's been our best defender overall. But he struggles with pace, as you saw in the first leg. He does struggle with a bit of pacing behind him. The problem is with Kyle Walker, he's obviously had his off-field issues this season, which to me, nothing to do with football. The football players, to me, I don't care what they do off the field. But it's not, Walker's being asked to do something that he doesn't normally do. Last season, he wasn't being used as an overlapping wing-back. The problem is football's changed that much. Fullbacks are no longer fullbacks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Danny Alves changed that role for everyone and ruined fullbacks for the rest of the world.
Marcelo as well.
Yeah, Marcelo. And you have basically what's happened is fullbacks have become failed wingers.
Yeah.
And what we've got now is defending's now the last thing that they're meant to do.
100%.
We're more bothered about how many crosses they put in at the other end than how many crosses they're blocking at one end. And to me, that doesn't. It suits Kyle Walker to a certain degree, but Pep's same with Gabardio. With like Gabardio last season, we had a block of just 4 defenders.
Yeah,
out and out defenders, and that's why Walker was used in.
Basically, centre backs by trade.
Yeah, but basically, people who enjoy defending, people who enjoy throwing the body in front of a ball, which is also a rarity now. Too many defenders are turning backs and everything 100%. Else left, right, and centre now. They've suddenly become scared of a football, which amazes me.
Yeah.
But no, for me, Kyle Walker, if he's fit, I'd play him tonight. But I'd keep him as a defender at right back. None of this overlapping stuff, because then it negates the whole problem of Vinny Jr. Because if he goes flying up the wing, well, who's covering Vinny Jr. back the other way? So you might as well just play a Kanji there then.
Yeah.
He's got to be the defender if he's going to play. So we'll say, but it's who you drop. Do you drop Diaz? Do you drop Kanji? Is John Stones going to make it? It's such a conundrum because it's great having a fully fit squad.
Yeah.
But there's also the other problem of, well, you've got to drop someone. And these are the games players don't want to be dropped in.
100%. Like what I would kind of basically rely on to predict what Pep is going to do. I think the occasion calls for someone like Walker. The occasion probably calls for Ake to come back in. Would you agree with that, Martin?
No, I'd probably keep Gabardio. I think Gabardio's been probably. We're now seeing the real Josko.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to ball out at left back.
I wasn't expecting him at left back. I thought he was coming as a left centre back.
I
thought he was coming in to take the Laporte place, but he didn't. He sort of took the. He's been used. I think he's been used at centre back on the left hand side once against Huddersfield in the FA Cup. Other than that, he's been used as a left fullback, left wing back, and that's been the surprising element. But he's now. I mean, he's balling out with goals at the minute, as you saw last week. But with his weaker foot, with his right foot, and you go in, where'd that come from? So,
even against Luton, the Luton finish as well. Like it was bad.
To me, you play man in form. Ake's just come back from injury, but I'd save Ake for Saturday.
Fair play. Because basically that was kind of what we were, having to worry about, because Walker being back is tricky. We can really make him, we can basically pushing him to making rash decisions. That's what I feel like, with Walker. But with Guardiola, his immense composure and his, basically his frame is massive, to get past someone like him for probably a guy like Carvajal or Rodrigo if he's playing down the right is gonna be a long night. And I think the sync, it's pretty. I mean, the chemistry between Grealish and Guardiola has been pretty seamless. They have nullified Carvajal a lot.
It surprised me, but the good thing about Gabardio, because I didn't like the Cancelo Grealish combination when Cancelo did the left, because Cancelo cut in. So then Grealish was cutting in, so they were getting in each other's way. You're going into traffic lanes. Whereas Gabardio doesn't. When he does it, he stays out wide. And he's okay if Grealish goes in. They're not getting in each other's way. And those two just seem to have brought up a little bit of a combination where Grealish brings you the cool, calm collectiveness that you need in these games. Because the one thing you don't want it to do is let these games turn into, like last week, a basketball game. I don't think you'll see that tonight. City will want to get the foot on the ball, control the tempo, slow it down, stop you coming on the counter-attack. Because I think where I think Madrid will get joy is if it does turn into a so-called basketball game.
In transition.
End to end. And that's where Rodri then gets caught, because he will run out of pace and tiredness, etc. And there's no cover there. So
100%.
we've just got to keep it as tight, as controlled as we can. I think the first goal is going to be so crucial tonight.
Super crucial.
If we get that goal with the atmosphere, it could kill you a lot off, because I think it might give you nightmares back. So it'll give you flashbacks to last year again.
It's going to happen. I think it's inevitable, because we start games super bad. Like Jacob, my co-host, had a request to me, just keep this as positive as you can, right? Like I told him, like I'll try my best, but this is some of the realistic, like equations that we have to always bear in mind, that we start games super slow. We invite pressures too much in the opening, first 10-15 minutes, because it takes a while for us to get going, and I especially despise it. Jacob, like you heard what Martin said, right? Like, so remember how we kind of handled the first leg. If we take the battle to City, we saw how they can basically question themselves, question their own ability at times. I personally thought that they had one foot on the brakes, at the Bernabeu. Would you think that was something that we have always heard about City throughout the season, that if teams go at them, there is a real chance? Or was it them basically, like I initially thought, playing with the handbrakes on?
And I just think no team in the world, consciously or unconsciously, would like to be like playing with breaks, especially in such a big occasion.
Yeah.
If it is possible, like any team would like to get the lead, especially away, so that you can secure the result back at home. But to your fact that it's a known fact, City play better at home. That the crowd, the atmosphere, it certainly helps. It is the 12th man. That is going to be a factor for sure. I just want to highlight the topic that you mentioned, because we, Real Madrid, are a very reactive team. We don't react, or we don't go all out attacking until we are on the back foot. So I think we're going to see a game where City are going to look to dominate starting off. And then if they get a goal up, then we are going to react. I feel it's going to be Real Madrid's game to try to put chaos into the mix and try to, hassle City and, try to keep the score into a basketball way. But then it's up to City if they can actually control the game and limit all the chances on the counter-attack, like Martin said.
Big up the chat. Smash the likes and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Senad was mentioning this is a game of systems against chaos, basically. I think that's a very good way to put it. Martin, KDB being back, I know that there has been wide speculation that he isn't the same player he used to be, especially with regards to his mobility, but he still is a huge game changer for you guys.
Yeah, and he turns up against Real Madrid. He does enjoy these occasions. The thing is with Kevin, obviously, he's been out for 6 months. Start of the season, injured at the back end of last season when he tore his hamstring, but players, painkiller injections, and on they go. Doesn't always help. But, I mean, the conundrum tonight is, does he play Kevin and Foden together? Now, I would do that personally, because I think you can drop KDB an extra 5-10 yards back. He becomes our quarterback, using NFL terms in it. Because Kevin can ping 30-yard balls over the top. Because Kevin he plays a floating role more in midfield. So as sometimes you see him on the right wing, then he's suddenly on the left wing, and then he's suddenly at the edge of the box, then he's further back. And he can do that. And to me, it's whether Pep's brave enough. Does he put Foden in that 10 role, drop KDB 5 yards, 10 yards, and sort of allow them to do it? Because for me, that midfield is going to be so crucial tonight. And we've got to dictate the tempo from the get-go.
100%. That's where I think our game basically is decided. And the battle of the two midfields is basically the ticket to the semi-final, in my opinion, because we have such a very composed midfield setup. Because coming into the season, we were kind of in two minds as to which way Carlo would go, especially with the loss of a brilliant striker in the form of Karim Benzema. Like we really had to, um, reinvent ourselves in a way to kind of reestablish this young side, and this midfield diamond was basically Carlos golden ticket. And how we played in the first leg gave me a lot of confidence, especially the 20-25 minute period where we completely swarmed City, gave them absolutely no space. But Martin, like if you kind of reflect on that particular instance, I know you guys were feeling the heat, but was it basically the usual City weathering a storm and then imposing themselves kind of a situation that was basically deja vu in
A
some
little bit
ways?
of both.
Mm,
We got a little bit legger. Thought your
mm,
quality upped.
mm, mm,
I mean, listen, it's the Santiago Bernabeu. You don't go there for an easy ride. You're a quality team, and you've got everything behind you that you've got in your history. But
mm,
I do think we looked a bit legger. You
mhm.
took over the game, and we were sort of probably wishing for the halftime whistle, whereas you weren't wishing for the halftime whistle last week.
100%. 100%.
Um, and it probably did us a favour. It came at the right time. We could go in,
Yeah.
get composed,
Yeah.
start again.
Yeah.
But the thing with this whole tie is you can see even at, when we took the lead and we're 3-2 up, and you're thinking, right, just hold on. A moment of brilliance just changes the whole game. Because you look at
100%.
that Valverde goal, nothing's stopping that. I don't care
Yeah.
what, people can moan about defending. It's just a moment of sheer brilliance from Valverde. And he puts
100%.
it in the bottom corner. And there's nothing you can do about that.
I just hope the game basically gives those kind of flashes of brilliance a platform
Yeah.
to happen, because
I'd
the
rather
reason,
see them goals than
yeah,
the two, like your two other goals were good goals, but they were
yeah,
reflections through the
yeah,
goalie's legs.
yeah,
You do want to see them moments of brilliance like you got in the
100,
third goal, but
100%, 100%.
it's
No, in my opinion, Martin, the reason why we had those kind of moments of brilliance was the fact that both teams went at it.
yeah, I
I
don't
have a
like it.
fear.
I hate it.
Mm, mm,
Doesn't
mm,
suit
mm.
us.
Yeah, it doesn't suit you guys. It
It
suits
does not
us. It
suit
plays
us to go,
right
let's
into
go
our laps.
back in at Chelsea away this year 4 each.
Yeah, yeah,
Tottenham at home 3 each. The Liverpool
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Anytime we've done that sort of thing, it sort of takes players out of the comfort zone.
100%, 100%. That was my whole war cry to Carlo. Ever since the first leg kind of was behind us. This was my mantra, that we have to basically give City problems by not making them feel like they have enough time on the ball to ping passes, to get their head up. Like, we can't really give them any space. We saw what happened, because City, once they rushed into making decisions, you see they're not fallible. They have a clear weakness in there. Like, even with some of the best players in their positions throughout the years, they are very much fallible. And that's what we saw in the first leg, especially with the moment in transition. Martin, like, we clearly expect City to play a more controlling game tonight, and I'm pretty sure you would as well. How much would that basically take us out of the equation, in your opinion?
To me, it'd take you well out of it, because that's what I think helped last season. I'm a big advocate of this controlled football, because if your opponent's got the ball, well, the other opponent can't hurt you. Cannot hurt you if you haven't got the ball. And if you look at your players, Rodrigo, Vinny Jr., etc., they're all on pace, power, go.
Yeah.
Acceleration and just go. But if they haven't got the ball, they can't do that.
100%.
And that's what I like about Pep. Because lately, Pep's philosophy, as you know, being in Barcelona, was always get the ball back within 5 to 10 seconds. You lose the ball, you go and get it fast. And we kind of stepped off that a little bit earlier on in the season, but in the last few weeks, it's now come back. You lose the ball, you go and get it back within 5 seconds. So, say for example, Bernardo loses the ball, he's the one chasing it back down to collect the ball back, and then you go again. Some fans don't like this passing back to the goalie. I don't mind it because if we're in a little bit of a pressure situation, it just calms it all down again. You play the ball right or you play the ball left, and you start again. And that's where, to me tonight, Bellingham's got to have a huge game tonight. I think he'll have, for you to get through, I think Bellingham's got to really step up.
He hasn't been looking himself, Martin. That's my biggest concern.
In the first leg, because
yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised I'm surprised that he wasn't even out tonight. I'm sure got booked, but
yeah.
That's another thing too.
That's a bit debatable, but I feel you. As a City fan, you might feel a little hard and
how big a loss is Tchouaméni for you?
Tchouaméni is a big loss, Martin. I can't begin to basically put it into words, because he is basically our biggest midfield general in terms of being a defensive force compared to someone like Cruz or someone like Camavinga. Tchouaméni has that nous and knack to basically be at the right space, right time to make a crucial block. He scored a banger as well at the weekend against Mallorca. I don't know if you watched the game, but he's going to be a big miss. But particularly Jude Bellingham, Jacob, like you saw what Martin said, right? Like we have discussed this countless times about how he's basically, he feels like he's playing through an injury. We have discussed the dislocated shoulder issue is a big, is a big blemish on otherwise brilliant season so far. If he is kind of playing at 50% of his powers, it really looks for bleak viewing.
Absolutely, man. I just feel like we didn't know what was going on with Jude Bellingham. Everyone thought it was just a drop in form. But he reiterated in the pre-match conference that he was actually playing through an injury since the Girona game, which happened maybe a month ago. He's not been fully fit. He has been playing with a pain on his ankle. So he hasn't been able to put his best out there. But I feel like just from his quotes and everything out there, he feels ready to play this game. Like Martin said, it doesn't matter what you do. You, like Kyle Walker, you just get all the pain meds in. Get all the injections in, somehow make the best out of this game, because if this is one game to like risk your maybe whole season over, this is the game that would be. And I feel like Jude is gonna give his all out there, and that's probably gonna be enough. He's just such a special player that if he puts his 100% effort in, if he gets in all the challenges, if he gets into the right spaces, if City actually don't mark him very well, I feel like we have every bit of chance to go through.
100%. One thing that I would request Jude is to basically just play the game. Don't play the occasion, because like in the past couple of months, like I've been noticing this trend. Like probably it might be bought on with his lull as well, because it's frustrating for someone who has been flying. Let's be honest, throughout this season, he should play the game and not the occasion. Don't ask for fouls. Play to the whistle. Stop moaning, stop bitching. This is not the moment. This is not the time to basically have those kind of antics get into your head and derail your momentum. Like that's one thing that Vinny and Jude has to be on it. Like they have to really completely take that out of the equation. And yeah, man, just play the game. Just play the fucking game. But Martin, where we kind of found the most joy in a sense was basically playing long balls out behind your wing backs, and it gave us really the leverage to pin back in a sense your high line as well in the first half. Pep kinda negated it in the second half. They really went for the jugular, but do you think that's a viable option for us?
Yeah, because that's how everyone has got over us this year, which is Pep. Because it was a weird one, because Pep changes his systems every year. And this year we've gone to this, because everyone plays us now with this flat back 9, as you probably know in your games.
Yeah.
You get teams and they have no ambition to come forward. So the only way they get out is a ball over the top. So Pep put everyone up. And the idea, for me, this is just my personal opinion, Why I think he changed the fullback system was to get in behind these low blocks. So to get in behind them, I hit the byline, balls across. And for whatever reason, it has caused us a problem. Because you look at the goals we've conceded, your place last week, we played United, it was just a big punt over the top from Anano. You know, win that second ball and they score. Chelsea the same. It's rinse and repeat every single goal that we tend to concede. So what we've got to stop are these balls coming in. And that's where we've got to have our big men there to win the first headers.
100%.
Never mind the second ball, the first ball is also is most crucial. Don't allow that ball down. If you allow that ball over the top and it gets put back to Rabini or Rodrigo to an
Kroos is your man. Kroos is your man.
You're in behind straight away and you're on the back foot. So we've got to stop them balls at source. And that's what we've got to do. And that's why, to me, that's why the control is so important. Keep ball. Don't allow you that option out the door. And that's, but again, it will come down to team selection. I'm really intrigued to see what everyone chooses, because Ancelotti did it last season when he played Militao. And everyone was like, "Oh, where's that come from?" You know, it wasn't expected. Pep may do the same tonight, and Carlo might do the same. This is the problem. You come in these big games, and too many managers second guess themselves. Start going, right, how do I beat them? Because last season will be on Carlo's mind. He'll deny it all day long. It will be in the back of their mind.
It's on everyone's mind.
It will be there of, right, this is what we did wrong last season. Same way we City will be going, right, we don't make the same mistakes we did in the last couple of months. And it's all about, for me, the major thing tonight is you've got to take chances.
100%.
You will get chances tonight.
How shocked were you by our finishing, Martin? This is my question.
No, because we've done the same all season. There's 3 games, we had 73 chances, and we scored 2 goals. 73 chances. That's been Haaland's biggest issue. People have had to go at Haaland. It's not about Haaland. I get more worried when players are not creating chances. That's when I think you worry, because it's a matter of time before strikers do what they do and put the ball in the net.
100%.
When you're not creating the chances, that's when I worry more, because I'm like, right, hang on, we're not even creating chances now. But you were still creating them. So it's a matter of time you were going to score some. Same with us. So tonight, when you get your opportunities, you've got to take them. Same with us. And that's why I said earlier on, the first goal is such a key element in this game, because it could make or break. Because if we get the first goal, you could get flash.
We have to basically come out.
If you get the first goal, they'll quieten the crowd down. Everyone will start getting a bit edgy, a bit nervous. And then City have got to start. Because I don't think either team wants this to go to extra time or penalties. So I don't think either team doing that.
Yeah, 100%. You guys have Chelsea at the weekend. We have Barcelona at the weekend. So it's it's best for both sides that we kind of put this to bed in the 90. Big up Sinad for the super chat. He was mentioning it's a system against chaos game. It's all about transition and shape. Watch out for Vinny. One that worries me about City is half spaces. Yeah, I was super surprised by how kind of you guys were relaxed in getting to second balls, especially in that period we dominated. It was almost like City didn't know what hit them, and that was my biggest eye opener. We have to really capitalize on moments like this. I'm pretty sure City will have their given moment of dominance. They have it every game. That there is you can dread it, run from it, but City's phase of absolute dominance where they have especially at home, where they have a chokehold on teams, is definitely gonna arrive. That's one thing that I've always kind of tried to argue with the optimists. You have to really watch what City does to teams at home. It's not an easy watch, especially as a Madridista, coming into this game. And I feel like when City are in possession, we have to really guys like Camavinga. Like, I know Kroos really comes out of games with next to no stains on his shots, on his sleeves. Like, I want these guys to put in a shift. put your fucking body on the line. Like that's one thing that could have prevented Foden's and Guardiola's goals. Like I was telling Jacob, in the post match after the game, and leading up to the second leg as well, Martin, that right before Foden scores that wonderful strike that we have seen him score all season, he basically fires a warning shot like 4 or 5 minutes right before it. So there is this blueprint very much there, that if Real basically decides to sit back and cover out zones and kind of defend in a low to mid block, you guys can find the back of the net. That's a brilliant weapon.
No offense, but especially with Lunin in the net, and that's not taking anything away from him. He's not Courtois.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
At the end of the day, this is something I beg for from our players for a while. Have a pot shot from the edge.
Yeah.
Have a go. Foden's got it in him.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne has got it in him. We've got players there.
100%.
I'd like to see a bit more from Haaland. Just have a go from the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because to me, I think your goalie is one of your weak points tonight. I think Tchouaméni's a major loss. If it is Nacho, go at them. Because the thing is, you have got one or two issues player-wise. We're at full strength.
Yeah.
So this is, to me, our... I'd rather play Madrid the way you are right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, you've been phenomenal. You've lost one game all season in the league. You're undefeated. It's the battle of the heavyweights tonight, Arsenal and Bayern Munich are not going to dread. Trust me now, this was one of them. When we both got drawn together, we both had a little sigh going, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the one team we both don't want. You don't want them and they don't want you.
100%.
And it's like the Champions League, you mentioned it earlier. Last season was a massive statement. It was like a gradual, because City fans have never accepted the Champions League for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Like we have talked to Steve for years. He used to basically, downplay the Champions League.
We've hated it. We'll do it tonight. We'll boo the anthem because it just becomes a tradition now.
Yeah.
But last season felt like there was an acceptance to this. We felt like for the first time in probably 10 years, even though we've been to finals, been to semi-finals, there was an acceptance of, right, we belong here now.
100%.
We're not just here with Madrid. And I think there was an acceptance from Madrid and Barcelona and all these other historic teams of City are here in the meaning now. This is not the City from 5 years ago. They're coming here and they mean business.
100%.
It was now a more respect level there has gone up to me a few levels.
Yeah.
And I did say, if we won one, it wouldn't surprise me we went on one. The things coming batches. We went on 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very weird scenario because I think we had to get over that mental block, not only as a team, but as a fan base.
100%.
This is where we are now.
You guys have your chest out, and you guys have every right to do so as well. You guys have been phenomenal. You guys haven't lost in the Champions League at home for the past 5 years. It's nothing short of incredible. A feat,
We've scored 3 goals. We're undefeated in this competition. Last 18 months, we've not lost. We're undefeated all last season. That goes so under the radar. We never lost a game last season in this competition.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
3 goals in every game this season. So, but I'm confident, but I do think we'll win, but I'm not like, here we go. This is going to be an easy game because it's Real Madrid.
Right.
Real Madrid,
100%.
and you've got to respect your opponents. So I have a saying that I go with it. It's you respect your opponents, you don't fear them. And I think for many years we feared these games.
Fear the occasion as well. The occasion kind of.
It was always Real Madrid, Barcelona. It was all Bayern Munich, and it was a bit like we're not quite there yet.
100%.
And I think we're there now.
Yeah, I just on that point, I just want to highlight the growth of Pep Guardiola as well. In previous occasions like this, in these big, huge clashes, he used to be one to be touted as overthinking, messing up his tactics just for the team, just to change things at the last minute. That doesn't suit his team really that much. But I think in the last couple of years, he has really shown that if he sticks to his guns and he makes some slight adjustments, he can actually pull off the result. And I feel like him maturing is also like a major win for Man City going through for the next few years.
Yeah, last year was 100% a coming of age season for Pep. We all know that he's, what is he, 50, 45, but that was kind of his year where he, stamped his imprint, especially with the City side, and made the people believe. And
Yeah, there's always that you can't do it without Barcelona or Messi.
yeah,
There's always that belief in football. Without Barca and without Messi, he could not do it.
But we could argue that Haaland was the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle.
But yeah, possibly. Like I said, it just everything seemed to gel this year, last year, and I don't know why. I'm not sure because everyone has written us off this year so badly.
I used to tell these Lord Martin, trust me. I used to tell them, City, they'll go through their lull, every now and then. But when it comes to the big games,
time.
yeah.
I mean, I've got a question. Say you got beat tonight, where does that leave you with them? Because obviously you're going to win the league now.
100%. Yeah.
Where are you with Carlo? Because there's rumors about Alonso going in. Yeah.
The board wants Carlo to stay. The board clearly has him and his coaching staff tied into a contract until 2026. So Xabi Alonso is a dream, at least 2 years away. For everyone involved. But man, it's all about how we go out. That's the biggest thing for me, because I've been a huge pro Carlo guy for years, and the way we went out last season, the way we played against Leipzig, in the second leg at home, games like those really makes me question how much can we bank on pragmatism, in big games. Like if it works, if the result is done, I'm not a big tactical. For me, winning at the end of the day is all that matters. And if we sacrifice front foot football and not win anything, it really
that's same as me. The business end of the season, I don't care about performances right now. I'm more bothered about just get the games won.
100%.
I mean, to me, I do believe this is our best chance to beat Madrid again.
Yeah,
I think better than last year, which seems mad. Only because
next year would be a different story, Mark.
Next year is different. Obviously, you've got Alphonso Davies and obviously, certain KP or KMP, whatever you want to call him, coming in from Paris. It's going to be a very different Real Madrid next year. To me, this is the opportunity to go again.
Yeah.
Especially with the new format, because this is the last old format.
Yeah.
Next season, we're all going to this UEFA Super League, basically.
Yeah. 36 games.
Basically a mini Super League that we're all about to bounce into. And you're going to get these games from the off, which I'm not overly keen on, because I do think it ruins it a bit later on. Takes away those special moments.
100%. 100%.
You don't want to be playing Real Madrid and Barcelona your first game in, and you're like, oh, great.
Yeah,
Then when you hit the semi-final, them occasions just it doesn't feel right, I don't
100%.
know how you feel about it. I understand it needed to be changed.
Yeah,
but I don't think putting the super heavyweights together at the beginning is the best way to go about it.
I guess you lose a bit of the mysticism the more you see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. That's what I think.
To me, I understand they've got to do it for the money, and they're trying to make more, because not everyone wants to go, with all due respect, to Victor, FC Young Boys and all them. I get that, but it kills a bit of a dream for them as well, because they still want to play the Real Madrid. You don't want to be playing. It's like you don't want Barcelona first game in, or Manchester City first game week 1, and you're like, oh, it just takes away a bit of the magic for me. I don't know.
100%. I think people would get accustomed to it, maybe a couple of years in. But you make very valid points. I think it's on everyone's, it's on basically everyone's, agenda that it might harm the sport in a way. But let's see. Fingers crossed. But
Have you guys actually gotten used to the away goals rule going away? Because I haven't. I feel like
No, I haven't.
it's been such a boring occasion, especially when teams can't bank on their home game performance and try to get away goals, and it just.
But the idealists claim that basically the away goal is basically a team that really haven't earned an extra goal is going through. That's what the idealists
I hear that,
argued
but
for the longest time.
I hear that. I see the logic in
no.
it. It's just that I just don't feel like the games are that exciting anymore than like they previously used to.
100%. The away goal really made the games had an unprecedented edge to it. Yeah, Martin, you were saying.
Hated them. Only because we've been knocked out in the away goal rule so many times.
Was it against Spurs, Martin?
Spurs and Monaco, I think we got.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've had enough of that away goal. No, but I get it, but I think it means the away team now has to come. I think it makes the second leg more entertaining. Because how many games you get in the second leg and you part the bus up? Because you've got that 2-2 and you're like, well, technically you're going in with a 1-goal lead and you're like, just settle it down and relax. I think it's made them second legs a lot more entertaining and exciting. Like look at last night, for example. I don't think you get that if you've got the away leg rule going on. But the away goal rule, I don't think you get them games. Because I think it's ruined certain teams like Atletico Madrid. That doesn't suit an open game of football for an Atletico team. Diego Simeone doesn't want let's score goals. He used to go with a 1-1, tighten up and don't move again. Can't do that anymore. He has to come out. So it suits some teams, it doesn't suit others, I suppose. But I do think it makes the second leg, the home, because we're at home tonight, I think it makes it a lot more crucial.
100%.
Because you always want that home leg. Now, whoever goes through tonight has got the home leg again in the second leg.
Really? Okay.
So you're still kind of helpful with it. Question: who would you prefer tonight? If, say whoever wins, are you wanting Bayern or are you wanting Arsenal?
I would take Bayern, but I would still I would still take Arsenal. Like, the hype surrounding them is a bit much, but they aren't that great. They clearly lack the experience at this point of the competition, in my opinion. True. Jacob.
Yeah, man. For me,
what do you think?
I would definitely take Bayern. Like, I know they lack the experience. They probably lack like a good striker like Bayern do. But the problem is Arsenal are so good defensively this season. They have the best defense in the Champions League. They have probably like the best defense in the league. I'm not keeping track of the EPL, but the eye test certainly says so. They can, if they can keep Man City to a draw, they can certainly out defend us and then hold us to a draw. So I really worry about the defense, and I feel like an open game suits us more. And I feel like this is the reason why I would prefer Bayern.
Fair point, but Martin will tell you himself that I hope you were at the game, right, against Arsenal, Martin, and it was basically City not finishing their dinner, right?
Story of our season, that. Story of our season, I'm not. Because I'm not a stats person. I'm too old school for this.
Me neither.
I'm an eye test person all day. I don't think on a stat. Because I think a stat can be skewed so much to make a player look. So player can be garbage for 89 minutes, score a goal, and they're suddenly getting 8.5, and you're like, well, is that
I saw this interesting super chat at one of the channels, and someone said, stats are like bikinis. What it shows is interesting, and what it hides is equally as interesting.
Like Haaland against United, we played United in the derby. He was rubbish for about 89 minutes, scored a goal, and suddenly he's amazing. Yeah, I know he's done his job. He was not good for 89 minutes. So I am stats are a weird one for me. Don't like them. Maybe I'm too old school with that one. I don't know. I'm more of an eye test person. But with the Arsenal one, it's a real, because the Arsenal game was weird. Because I didn't expect Arsenal to play the way they did. I think they got a bit too much criticism looking back on it. I thought they got, because it's a title race and it's more about not losing than it is getting the win. If you can't get the win, you don't lose, generally in a title race. But
Yeah,
I suppose with it, it's helped us better than it's helped everyone else. Because we've
100%.
ended up continue winning. Because the
Yeah,
main point was we're 27 games unbeaten in all comps.
that's
We've not
mad.
lost at home in 18 months in the league.
That's mad. Yeah,
Not
yeah.
lost in the Champions League at home for about 3-4 years. We're on some mad run at the moment. Now it could all come crashing down tonight. I'm not behind the door on that. We're not playing a crap team. We're playing Real Madrid, kings of this competition. You still got to respect them, and they can damage you and you can hurt us. But I just feel tonight, I don't know why, I just feel like I do think we'll win this whole competition again. Because it's very City-esque. You won it you can't win it for 10 years. You won it, right, go and win it again. And then we might not win it again for 10 years.
100%. 100%.
You did that. You were 3 on the bounce. And sometimes it's just momentum that just carries you through these things.
Yeah, and there'll be games where we have to basically, do the ugly bit and see games out, and that's what you guys did at the Bernabeu. You guys hung in there, weathered the storm, and came back strong. And this is you guys will be in your element tonight, unfortunately for us. But what the element where you basically puts big teams to the sword, unfortunately, that's what the evidence suggests. But I'll tell you one thing, Martin, right? The records, they speak for themselves. You guys have been pretty invincible at home in the Champions League, for the past 5 years or so. But there's a stat, Martin, and I hope you knew this, right? When Madrid faces the reigning champion, they knock them out and they go on to win the competition.
Yeah. So
how much does it play into your psyche, or do you really have feeling that it doesn't hold much substance?
No, someone's record's got to go tonight. It just adds that bit more spice to it. Someone's record has to go. It's your record of beating the defending champions, or it's our record of a 4-year unbeaten run at home. Something has to give tonight. This is not the group stage anymore. Yeah. This is what we crave for. This is. I'm a bit gutted. It's the quarterfinal.
Same here.
I'm a bit gutted. It's the quarterfinal.
I reckon we had a better chance if we faced you guys in the final, because we have a knack of managing finals.
I agree with. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I don't. A lot of people have got City as favourites tonight, which that can be seen however they want to. But I think if this was the final, I don't think it would be as one way as people think it would. Because I think Madrid turn up in finals. They know how to. I was so pleased we got you in the semis last year and not the final. It was one of them, because you don't want Real Madrid in a final. It's very much like you don't want Bayern Munich in a final. You don't want Barcelona in a final. You want the certain teams. It's like this year. I'm hoping we get a PSG.
Yeah.
They're still, sounds weird this, but they're still kind of novices in this comp.
For either of us who wins this tie, it's pretty straightforward. And if we don't win this, it's going to be a huge question mark as to why we didn't capitalize on the bracket.
The thing I can guarantee you, both teams will look very different next season.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do a lot of business. We're going to do a lot of business. And I think tonight is a game that we should enjoy. The neutrals will probably enjoy it more than
100%.
You will and I will.
Yeah.
But what I mean, to me, I'm going to sound so arrogant with this, but I said 3 or 4-1 tonight.
3 or 4-1, yeah.
Yeah, not because you're bad. I think we will get that early goal, and I think it will then go into your psyche of
100%. Yeah, if City score the first goal, I reckon the floodgates are going to be open.
I think you've got a chance. A major chance then. A really good chance.
Yeah.
Because then we're into a domain we don't want.
100%. 100%. City really struggle in transition.
You don't want to chase the game.
Yeah, 100%. When City has to basically play out of their comfort zones, they have to play a game that they are not familiar with. We have seen them lack a bit of conviction, and yeah, that's our way in.
You start snatching at chances, don't you? You start.
Yeah.
It's like when you're 1-0 down and you're 10 minutes to go,
Yeah.
the ball starts becoming a lead ball.
Yeah.
That goal becomes a bit smaller. Everything just
Yeah.
closes in on you.
100%.
And it changes the psyche. But yeah, I don't know what you're thinking of tonight.
Jacob, I'll make him go first. I don't want to spoil it too early. But Jacob, man, you heard what Martin said. He predicts a 4-1. Steve predicted a 4-0 last year.
4-0 again.
So
okay.
no,
That was
it
for
was last
year.
year. I'm yet to ask his prediction, but it would be
Have you not asked
in the same realm. Steve didn't give away his prediction this time. We were actually planning to do a preview, but yeah, he was a bit cheeky. He was a bit cheeky with that. But I reckon it should be in the same realm as yours, Martin. Like no way, it's different.
And say, what's your score? Do you want to know?
You could 100%. You could, and yeah, it's gonna be 4-0 or 3-0 minimum. But Jacob, man, take it away. What's your gut feeling?
Man, I feel like the scoreline is going to be much closer than last year at least. That's my prediction. I'm not sure if we're going to win, but I'm going to hold out hope. As for Martin's point about and your point about like if City score first, especially earlier on the first half, the floodgates are going to open. I feel like it's going to be an opposite game. I feel like this Real Madrid team, they kick into gear actually when we're a goal down and when there's a change in XG. And that's when we actually go all out. When we are more proactive, we press more. I feel like that's going to play into us, especially if it's the first half. If it's the second half and we lose the lead, it's going to be a tall ask because we don't have the subs that we had that last year to change the game. So I feel like it's down to the first half, how both teams are, what the scoreline is, and if we can keep it at 0-0 and try to keep going in the second half, I feel like we have a lot more chance and it's going to be a lot closer. I predict a 2-2 draw, and it's going to go to the penalties, and we're going to win it in the last.
Right, pens, yeah.
Yeah.
Martin, would you like pens? Is my question.
No.
Does City have a bad history with penalties?
No, it's more for my heart. I don't want to go into penalties.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take 2 hours of football and then penalties.
Fair enough. I think I vaguely remember a record where City has never lost a shootout or something in recent history.
We've got a decent record, yeah, but as we just discussed, records are there to be. No, I never enjoy it. But I don't like penalty shootouts. I don't think teams should go out on penalty shootouts.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a nice way to go out.
Yeah.
Because you've technically you've not won the game. You've technically not even lost the game. It's on a 12-yard kick in it. So, but someone has to go out. But I pray it's not extra time and penalties.
100%.
We've seen the weather. It's throwing it down out here. I'm not sitting in there for 2.5 hours in the rain.
I understand. I completely understand. But I'll give you guys my prediction. But before that, Jacob, I think it's best to run the ad. Pick up Manscaped again.
This episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions, Manscaped. And this season, we partnered up with them to make sure everyone's grass is cut up to standard because Xavi has been complaining and it's been annoying our secretary. So join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this special offer. Go to manscaped.com, use code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at checkout. So introducing this season's MVP is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It's a trimmer with 2 blade heads, one to just take, a little off the top, or the foil blade basically to go super smooth, and you can use this in the shower. It has 2 bright LED spotlights, so there's no accidents in the shower, and yeah, it's waterproof, it's easy to clean. You can put this in your travel bag, in your drawer. So to get the full grooming experience, you should get the Beard Hedger Pro Kit and the Handyman Electric Face Shaver. Basically, you get extra parts to really create your signature look and clean up your neckline. So use code LBR20 at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping. That's LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And thank you for watching. Back to the video.
Big up Doris, big up Manscaped. You guys know the drill. If you guys want to show us some love, show Manscaped some love. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Obviously, the pioneers of men's grooming. They have a whole catalog of, trimmers, beard waxes, loungewear, you name it. Manscaped probably has it. There's a pinned comment in the live chat, and there's a link in the description as well. Yeah, people, big up Manscaped every single time. But yeah, towards my prediction, right? I'll preface it with this. I wasn't super confident. When the tie was drawn, I wasn't confident. After the first leg, I was seething. Actually, I was losing my mind. Basically contemplating how we let City walk away alive in the first leg, because the amount of chances, clear-cut chances as well, that we had in the phase that we dominated, that we didn't put away, would really come back to bite us. That's what I thought. Martin, you were going to say something?
No, carry on, mate.
Right. I thought you were going to say something, right? But yeah, for me, City basically, was let off easy, and whatever happens tonight, I would be basically, contemplating what could have been if we decided to put away chances in the first leg. For tonight, I'll tell you, this isn't our first rodeo per se, because away at the Allianz in 2014, when the odds were stacked against us, a Bayern team that were reigning champions at home, basically a stadium that we have never won in, we went and basically turned Pep's Bayern over 4-0. It wasn't even a close game where it was a 2-1 or a 3-2 victory. It was a 4-0 astounding, resounding success. Obviously, Pep made a few blunders into his lineup and selections, but we absolutely made Bayern pay. Similar to what happened at the Bridge as well, a couple of years ago when Karim Benzema put on a Ramadan masterclass at Stamford Bridge. Modric's cross in, Benzema with the brilliant header. Nights like those basically define our DNA, define what we are made of. So I completely back the side to pull off the unthinkable tonight. But then again, if we go out, I'd be looking at what happened in the first leg. But I think, there is still a chance. It's very slim. It's super slim, but I still think there is a big chance that we can pull off something that is unprecedented against City. I would reckon the scoreline would be 2-1 to us at the end of the night. Probably Vinicius with both goals. And City will have to basically, dust themselves up for Chelsea at the weekend, Martin.
Don't do that, man. You're killing the dream. We'll see. This is it's a big week for us.
100%.
Like you said, the double treble could be on, or in 6 days.
Yeah,
could be all over.
Yeah. Do or die.
It's a huge week for Manchester City, this, as it is for you, but this is. We don't play in the Premier League for another week, nearly 10 days. So we could be out of the Champions League, out of the FA Cup within Saturday night, or we might be sat here talking about another treble, which is such an important week. But I just want to get tonight out of the way. And then we'll move on to other stuff.
100%. What City is doing again is special. All the Manchester Reds, who apparently claim that they don't care about the treble, will definitely care about the double treble if that happens.
There isn't any Manchester Reds.
The United fans, basically, right?
Yeah, they're all in London. They're not in Manchester.
Fair enough. I've heard that before.
Know what Champions League is anymore. They can't stay in it long enough.
That's a very valid point. I've heard that a lot. That United is basically supported from.
Can't even get out of the group. Never mind getting into this sort of thing. United have now got what they used to call history.
Yeah,
They've just got their history books now. That's all they've got now.
100%. And I, for one, enjoy their downfall as much as you guys. I just despise United. It has been caused by my mates growing up.
One of the greatest moments I ever had as a Saints, I believe, and this is how sad I am, is when Ronaldo, R9, not R7, R9, broke out at the Old Trafford years ago in that lovely black and gold kit you had, and I was like, yeah, loving it. I always remember him doing that. I was like, Stretford end, and I'm like, yeah.
That was before our time, but yeah, we have seen the highlights, and yeah, he had a hat trick, right?
Well, again, I'm showing my age. That was the real Ronaldo. None of this R7 nonsense. The R9 was the real Ronaldo.
I would beg to disagree, but you do have a point. You know,
Phenomenal was because I watched him live. So well, not
100%.
We were exactly playing Real Madrid on the quiet. I really showed my age now. I remember R9 at Barcelona. So
that's around the time where we were actually born, Martin. So you know,
that was Luis Figo. I remember throwing the pig's head on the pitch, and I'm like, so I'm just Guta, all of them. Clarence
Seedorf.
I used to watch that Real Madrid and Barcelona days, and I was like, that's football. That was two top teams going hammer and tongue, and I loved it.
100%.
Watching Rivaldo and Ronaldo, it was just exquisite.
100%. Yeah, the late 90s was also a big, huge golden period.
York City and Colchester then, so it wasn't that.
So you basically relied on the La Liga for quality, right?
The story Steve's got, mine's just exactly the same because I think we're the same age and have just gone through it.
100%.
Time, so.
100%. Again, Martin, it was an absolute pleasure of having you on. I would like to, apologize, firstly that we kind of had differences in kind of scheduling. This could have been done way earlier, right? Like we just couldn't find the right
No need to apologize. It's been a pleasure coming on. I'm glad we could do it. Honestly, do not apologize.
100%. It was an absolute pleasure as well.
Hopefully, if you want me to even come on and if you do any post-match stuff at some point in the week, let me know. I'll even come on, win, lose, or draw. I don't mind. I don't hide. So if we get I'll come on and give you your flowers. I'm not going to do any of this hiding nonsense.
100%. Yeah, if you come back from the game, early on, we could have you on, but I wouldn't have you on if we lose. No chance. I wouldn't be able to, kind of have a very cordial conversation with you. Unfortunately, Martin.
2 years in a row.
No chance. But yeah, again, big up the chat for being super nice, super welcoming to Martin as well. On the way out, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. Go subscribe to Martin's channel as well. All his socials are probably in the link as well. Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as well. But yeah, until next time, people. Hala Madrid.